I used to think 6 years meant something. 6 years of shared holidays, whispered secrets under the covers, silent fights that ended with forehead kisses, and dreams woven like threads into a life I thought we were building together. Liam and I met at a friend's wedding. He was the best man, I was the slightly cynical bridesmaid. He made me laugh that night, pulled me onto the dance floor when I insisted I didn't dance. Somehow, that turned into dinners, then weekends, then years. By year 4, we were basically living together. By year 5, we were talking rings. And now, year 6, he surprised me with an anniversary trip to Costa Rica. A reset, he called it. We've both been so busy. Let's reconnect, just the two of us. It was sweet. Thoughtful. Exactly what I'd been craving. I didn't question it, not really. I was too busy imagining beach sunsets, morning mimosas, and hotel sheets that smelled like coconuts and freedom. I spent the week leading up to the trip shopping for swimsuits I wasn't sure I'd have the confidence to wear, buying travel-sized toiletries I didn't need, and Googling romantic things to do on the beach. On the night before we were set to leave, I was packing. My suitcase was half open on the bed, spilling over with too many dresses I probably wouldn't wear. Liam was in the shower. His phone was charging on the nightstand, screen up. It lit up once. Then again. And again. 3 messages. Same name, Clara, work. But work texts don't usually come in at 11:17 p.m. And they don't usually end with red heart emojis. I froze. Looked away. Then looked again. My stomach did this, slow, twisting thing. Like it knew something I didn't. I wasn't supposed to see it. I knew that. But something in me, a quiet, aching part one hadn't listened to in months, whispered, look. And I did. I opened it. And my entire world collapsed. Looking back, the unraveling didn't start with Clara. It started slowly, so slowly I almost convinced myself I imagined it. About 6 months before the trip, things began to shift. Liam started working later. At first, I didn't question it. He was up for a promotion, and I knew how competitive his firm could be. But what used to be, I'll be home by 7, became, don't wait up. He'd sneak in past midnight, sometimes without a word. Just a long exhale, the creak of our bedroom door, and the faint scent of cologne I didn't recognize. Then came the phone. He was glued to it, constantly checking it, guarding it like it held state secrets. He stopped leaving it on the table. Stopped flipping it face up. Started taking it with him to the bathroom, even into the shower. The intimacy faded next. I'd crawl into bed, inch close to him, hoping for warmth, a touch, anything. But he'd turn away. Say he was tired. Drained. Needed space. At first, I thought I was the problem. Maybe I wasn't fun anymore. Maybe I wasn't enough. So I tried harder, cooked his favorite meals, sent flirty texts, even booked a spontaneous couples massage weekend. He canceled last minute. The excuses piled up like unopened mail, small and forgettable at first, but overwhelming in the end. And then, there was Nathan. Liam's best friend since college. The kind of man who made people feel at ease within minutes. He had this lightness to him, easy laughter, a voice you wanted to trust. Over the years, Nathan and I had developed our own quiet friendship. He always made sure to ask how I was really doing, not just the surface-level stuff. One night, a few months back, we were all supposed to meet for drinks after Liam's late meeting. But Liam bailed, again. Said something had come up. So it ended up just me and Nathan. We sat across from each other at a quiet bar, low lights flickering between us. He sipped his beer, then leaned forward gently. You okay, Jules? I smiled too quickly. Yeah, of course. He didn't buy it. Just kept watching me with those steady eyes. He's just stressed, I added. That's all. Nathan nodded, but didn't respond. He didn't need to. Because somewhere deep down, I already knew. And in the narration now, I'll tell you the truth I couldn't say out loud that night. That wasn't all. I just didn't want to admit it. My hands were shaking as I scrolled through the messages. They weren't vague. There were no misunderstandings. No room for doubt. There were photos. Jokes only couples make. Plans for future weekends when I was supposedly away at work. Messages that started with, "Last night was perfect," and ended with, "I miss your skin." Her name was Clara, and she worked 2 floors below him. I remembered him mentioning her once in passing, said she was just a finance analyst, and laughed it off. He came out of the shower towel drying his hair, humming like nothing had happened. I sat at the edge of the bed, his phone in my lap, screen still glowing. "Who's Clara?" I asked. He froze. The air between us turned electric. "What?" he said, too fast. I held up the phone. "I read everything." He didn't reach for it. He didn't even look surprised. Instead, he sighed, like I was the inconvenience. "Julia, it's not what you think." I laughed. A sharp, humorless thing. "Really? So you didn't sleep with her last Thursday? Or Monday? Or maybe that's a different Clara who also calls you my person." He ran a hand through his hair, irritation creeping into his features. "Look, I didn't plan for this. It just happened. Things between us have been off for a while." I stared at him. "You've been distant. You've barely looked at me. What did you expect?" That's when the numbness set in. The kind that tells you this person is gone, even if they're standing right in front of you. No apology. No remorse. Just blame. I didn't cry. Not right then. I stood up, zipped my suitcase, and walked out the door. I didn't take my charger. I didn't take my earrings from the dresser. In the hallway, the walls tilted. The world spun. I couldn't breathe. I called the only person I trusted to answer without asking why. "Nathan." My voice cracked. I can't be here right now." He didn't ask questions. Just said, "Where are you?" 20 minutes later, his car pulled up outside the apartment. He stepped out, took one look at me standing on the curb like a broken shell of myself, and opened the passenger door without saying a word. I got in. And for the first time in hours, I felt safe. Nathan didn't ask for details that night. He just gave me a spare t-shirt, made me a cup of chamomile tea, and let me sit on his couch in silence while the rest of the world kept spinning. I didn't sleep much. My mind replayed everything, Liam's cold expression, the way his voice sounded more annoyed than sorry, and the pit in my stomach that had been growing for months. The next morning, I woke to the smell of coffee and the sound of eggs sizzling in the kitchen. Nathan had cooked breakfast like it was the most normal thing in the world. He smiled when he saw me, soft and steady. "Eat," he said, sliding the plate toward me. "You haven't had anything in hours." I nodded. Ate slowly. Said nothing. That evening, after dinner, we sat on his balcony with glasses of wine, the city buzzing beneath us. The sun was bleeding into the skyline, and I finally spoke. "I read all of it," I said quietly. She called him her boyfriend. Nathan's jaw clenched. He didn't say, "What an asshole," or "I'm going to kill him." He just looked devastated. "For me. I always knew he didn't deserve you," he finally said. "But I never thought he'd do this." We sat in the quiet that followed, comfortable, if heavy. "I should cancel the trip," I muttered, swirling my wine. Nathan tilted his head. Do you want to? I thought about it. About the months I'd spent looking forward to it, about the beaches, the freedom, the idea of reconnecting, only now there was nothing left to connect to. It's non-refundable, I said. And I can't just sit here waiting to feel normal again. He raised an eyebrow, half a smirk forming. So? I took a breath. A strange idea bubbled up, irrational, impulsive, but thrilling in a way I hadn't felt in years. You know what? I said, turning to him. You're coming with me. He blinked. Wait. What? To Costa Rica. With me. Why not? You already know everything, and I just need to go. I need to get out of here. Nathan stared at me for a moment, caught somewhere between confusion and hope. Are you sure? I shook my head slowly. No. But I want to be. And for the first time since everything fell apart, I felt something that resembled control. Not revenge. Not healing. Just choice. And that was enough for now. Costa Rica was humid, chaotic, and beautiful. And for the first time in years, I felt alive. Nathan and I didn't try to force anything. We weren't playing pretend couple or trying to fill the silence. We just existed. Two people stepping away from broken things, barefoot on beaches, letting the ocean pull away old grief. We swam in coves surrounded by green cliffs. We zip-lined through trees so tall they touched the clouds. We ate food that tasted like joy and stayed out too late laughing like teenagers who didn't have real lives to go back to. I didn't expect to feel light again. Not so soon. Not with someone who reminded me so much of what I thought I'd lost. One night, the air was thick with salt and stars, and we sat on the balcony of our little bungalow, sipping wine, listening to the crash of waves. Nathan looked at me for a long moment. Then said, almost to himself, I almost told you. Twice. That I had feelings for you. I blinked. What? He laughed nervously, ran a hand through his hair. Yeah. Back in year 3 and again in year 5. But I didn't. Because you were his. My heart did this strange, nervous lurch. Not fear. Not confusion. But recognition. I hadn't let myself see it before. All those little moments, the long hugs, the knowing glances, the way Nathan always checked in when Liam didn't even notice I'd gone quiet. You never said anything, I whispered. He shrugged. I figured if you were happy, that was enough. We didn't kiss. But something shifted. Something big. A charge in the air between us. A question, finally asked. And in that moment, I wasn't thinking about revenge. I wasn't thinking about Liam or heartbreak or even what came next. I was thinking about me. About the woman I used to be before love made me smaller. My phone buzzed on the side table. Again. And again. I glanced at it. Liam. Dozens of messages, missed calls. His tone had changed from indifference to rage. He knew Nathan was with me now. And he hated it. He sent one message that read, Really, Julia? Him. You took my best friend. I picked up the phone and typed slowly, He treats me the way you never did. Then I blocked him. I thought I was getting revenge. But maybe. I was just finding myself. Coming home felt different. The city hadn't changed, same honking horns, same gray sidewalks, same hustle and grind. But I had. I felt lighter. Not because everything was perfect, but because I had finally stopped carrying someone else's weight. I returned to his apartment one last time to pick up my things. Liam was there, standing in the doorway like someone waiting for a verdict. He tried to act composed, but the moment he saw me, it cracked. His eyes were red-rimmed. His voice, trembling. "Jules, please. We can fix this." I didn't respond. He followed me room to room, trailing apologies that came too late. Excuses disguised as explanations. Promises wrapped in desperation. "You never even let me explain. We had 6 good years." It didn't mean anything. I turned to him, finally. "You cried for me," I said softly. "But you never cared for me. There's a difference." And now, I knew it. I walked out with 2 suitcases, no regrets, and a peace I hadn't known in years. Nathan met me outside, helped me load the car. He didn't press. Didn't ask what happened in there. Just reached over and squeezed my hand. We didn't rush into anything. No declarations. No whirlwind romance. Just dinners that felt like safety, long walks that felt like understanding, and quiet moments that made me believe in softness again. We were choosing each other now. No guilt. No shadows. No borrowed time. A few weeks later, I found myself sitting alone on a park bench as the sun melted into the sky, painting everything gold. My journal rested on my lap, pages fluttering in the breeze. I wrote slowly, deliberately. Sometimes revenge looks like fire. Sometimes, it's a sunrise with someone who never had to be asked to stay. I closed the notebook and looked up at the world, different now. Not because it had changed, but because I had. My heartbreak didn't end me. It introduced me to someone I'd forgotten, me.